I should act in that manner. If I'm good, or if I'm worth something, I should act that way. I shouldn't, there's a sort of a way good people act.
Well, so just to put some meat on the bones of that idea then, how would you connect that to our experience in the park with the homeless guys?
All right, so to fill everyone in, on the Humane Wars trip, we stopped at a picnic in a park in Tucson, and some homeless people came over, surrounded us. Admittedly, that was a bit frightening, but then we shared our meal with them, and we talked to some of them, and so on.
So some of the young people were, I think, nervous by the homeless people coming over at first, wouldn't you say?
Myself included, yes.
And so it was a little bit of a tense situation, right? Because we just intended just to eat the meal. Right? We didn't intend to share it. But ultimately we did share it. So go ahead with your idea of the double transformation thing.
So on the one hand, us sharing it might make it has the possibility of making us better, because we were doing a good deed, and I think some of us were doing it for its own sake because it was good. I don't think a lot of us were doing it for another reason. The other thing, though, is we're now showing these people that they have value. So these homeless people, some of them might have not felt that they were worth anything. They might have felt a lack of self-worth. And so by showing that we value them, we convince them that they should act in a way that is worth being valued, if that makes sense. So there's that, I don't know any of their actual habits, I'm afraid, but that they should act and they should do good things now, because if they're worth something, if they're a good person, good people do good things, if that makes sense. If you think you're good, you act in the way you think good people should act. If you think you are wicked, you're going to act. You're not necessarily going to act in a good way because, well, you're wicked. In your own mind, you don't think you're worthy of that, I guess?
Well, couldn't we make people understand that they are essentially good by telling them the Genesis story?
If that worked, I think there would be many more people who thought that. Telling the Genesis story is helpful, but I don't know if it's the best way to communicate that there is a person who actually directly values them. It's a really good sort of proof, for lack of a better word, like something to show. But I think that it isn't necessary, and two, I don't think it shows, it doesn't show that you personally care about this individual. It doesn't show, if I give someone food, it shows that I personally care about them. There is a face, a name, a voice, something concrete that they can see, hear, or touch that cares about them. Whereas the Genesis story, well, they can, yes, touch the paper and hear the words, doesn't offer that direct nature, that direct sort of hatred, for lack of a better word.
Okay. So I guess then, as a concluding thought, if I was to ask you whether the church should spend more of its energy doing good or telling people that they should be good, what do you think the answer is?
Well, I think it's doing good, because by doing good, you inspire them to be good, and you help yourself be good. Whereas just telling them, hey, be a good person, you might convince them, but that won't necessarily make you better, and it is less likely to make them better.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Good.